In this episode, we're going to be looking at the equipment and clothing I use for gravel racing, how I select which things I use and under what circumstances. This is the gravel bike I use for racing. It's a Live Devote Advanced Pro. It's a women's specific bike, meaning that the dimensions and geometry are designed for women, so it fits me properly. Bike type is very individual. The main thing to make sure is that it fits you. Gravel bikes have a lower gearing than road bikes because the hills we climb are off-road and on gravel and generally a lot steeper. It's not always possible to stand up when climbing on gravel climbs, so you need the lower gearing to be able to sit down whilst climbing at a reasonable RPM and without destroying your knees. Gravel bikes also have more clearance for fatter tyres. You need more grip when gravel racing, so you'll want wider tyres. This is a cyclocross bike. Whilst you can race gravel races on it, and many people do, a gravel specific bike will usually have more comfortable geometry, have lower gearing and more clearance for wider tyres. Tyres are going to be one of your most important equipment choices when gravel racing. You really need to know what the terrain is going to be like before selecting a tyre, as they make a big difference to how confidently and comfortably you'll be able to race. Now let's take a look at tyres, starting out with this one, which is a Maxxis Receptor. This is the tyre that came with the bike, and whilst it's very fast on tarmac and smooth gravel, it's not great for slippery conditions, and it's quite a lightweight construction so that it isn't very durable. I discovered this after only a few rides on this tyre. Next up we have the Schwalbe G1. These are quite popular for general mixed riding on gravel and tarmac, although not really suitable for slippery, muddy conditions, as Phil found out last weekend at 7. This next tyre is the Pathfinder. This tyre has a bit of everything on it. It has a smooth tread in the middle for fast running on tarmac and smooth gravel, a moderate tread either side of that, and then a fairly chunky tread on the outside, which is good for having some grip in loose corners, for example. This is the tyre that I used for 7. It's got more tread all over the tyre, which is good for muddy and slippery conditions. It's a Pirelli Cinturo and recommended as a great all-round tyre. The last tyre we're going to look at is actually a cyclocross tyre, but I want to point out how big the tread is. This tyre is for very muddy and slippery conditions. You can get similar tread tyres for gravel bikes that are wider but generally not used for racing due to the greater rolling resistance. Tyre size is the next on the list of things to consider. Whilst a really wide tyre will give you lots of grip, it will also rob you of speed. The other thing you need to make sure is, will it actually fit in your frame? Will it still fit if it's covered in thick, sticky mud and scraping paint off your frame? Tyre pressures also make a huge difference in how much grip and how comfortable you will be. You need to consider the following: the weight of you and your bike, the width of the tyre, the type of terrain, the grip levels and comfort you will want. All of these will dictate whether your tyre pressure will be higher or lower. For 7, I chose a 40mm tyre with the pressures up in the low 30s for grip. If you know the terrain of the course you're riding on, it's relatively easy to select and fit the gearing you'll need. Gravel bikes have lower gearing than road bikes, as you are generally going slower when riding on gravel. This makes them good for climbing hills straight out of the box. However, if you are riding a lot of very steep hills, you may want to put even bigger gearing on so that you can still spin up the hills and don't destroy your knees and legs with really low cadence. If your course is flat and smooth, you might want to consider putting a bigger chainring on the front to cope with the higher speeds. Next we're going to be talking about clothing. This is my warm weather or summer kit I would wear. Jersey, base layer, always wear my cargo bibs and gloves and socks. This is what I wear when it's a little bit cooler. Arm warmers and a vest, and this is also what I wore for 7. Now it's starting to get a bit cooler. I've got some long gloves, ear warmers, longer jersey, vest and knee warmers. And the beauty about this is it's all layers, so I can take them off as I get warmer. Now we're talking really cold, probably sub-zero temperatures, probably some rain as well. Shoe covers, booties, longs and a nice warm jacket. If you have any questions about the gravel bikes, clothing and gravel racing, just drop us a message or leave a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you want to hear more racing and training tips. If you need a coach or a training plan, both of these are available from our website. The links are in the descriptions below. Thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed this video.